Misinformation on the internet isn't new, but many people believe it's more prevalent and powerful than ever. Silicon Valley tech giants have come under heavy scrutiny for allowing lies and distortions to spread during the US election campaign. In one spectacular example, the Buzzfeed news site revealed that a group of young people in Macedonia were deliberately running misinformation sites, mostly publishing vast amounts of made-up US political content. Their motive was purely financial, money for clicks. Facebook is particularly under fire for spreading such fake stories. Lexi Metherall reports.
Today in the United States, if you Googled final election results, the search engine handed back a news story proclaiming Donald Trump won not only the electoral vote, but the popular vote as well. The story comes from a pro-Trump website called 70 News, and readers have shared it widely on the internet. There's just one problem.
It's not true.
Mr. Trump did not win the popular vote. It looks as though Hillary Clinton will.
Just as it's not true that the Pope endorsed Trump, because of course he didn't. But that story was shared almost 1 million times, which is absurd.
The story is just one example of so-called fake news, a phenomenon in the spotlight, including from comedian John Oliver.
There is now a whole cottage industry specialising in hyper-partisan, sometimes wildly distorted clickbait. Buzzfeed News researched sites like Addicting Info on the left and Freedom Daily on the right, both of which have over 1 million followers on Facebook, putting them in the same range as Anderson Cooper 360, and found that some of them were publishing many viral articles containing flat-out falsehoods.
This was not just stuff that was happening at the fringes, but became part of the mainstream of the campaign. There's lots of these things now that really circulate around at tremendous speed, and it's harder and harder for ordinary citizens, I think, to know the difference between what's accurate and what's completely fake.
Fake news is not new, but it's of growing concern, particularly among Democrats in the wake of their shock election loss. Dr. Stephen Harrington is a senior lecturer in journalism, media and communication at the Queensland University of Technology.
The nature of social media means it's very easy for these things to circulate and becomes, almost an established fact in the mind of some people, even if it's ultimately kind of incorrect.
Researchers have found 62% of US adults get their news on social media, but there's debate over exactly how much influence fake news had on the final election outcome, and over whether Facebook and other tech companies should be responsible for ensuring only accurate information spreads on their sites. Dr. Jennifer Hunt is from the US Studies Centre.
The scale of fake news is unprecedented in this presidential campaign. We know that a majority of Americans now get their news, or at least some of it, online, including through Facebook and social media sites. We also know that these articles can play a role in shaping debate and actually changing people's opinions. So I think Trump's digital director actually acknowledged the role that Facebook was a platform that they used quite effectively. Facebook was the single most important platform to help grow our fundraising base, was the quote. The problem is that we know that Facebook is not a media company. It doesn't consider itself a media company. It's a platform. And those platforms, the algorithms are optimized for engagement. And BS is highly engaging, as it turns out.
So do you think that Facebook and other big tech giants have a responsibility, given that they're making money out of people engaging on their sites? Do they have a responsibility to ensure that the material being spread is accurate?
Absolutely. Fake news, the mainstreaming of conspiracy theories is detrimental to democracy. It erodes trust in institutions like the free press. It motivates people to act on false fears, and many actors would benefit internationally from exploiting that weakness.
Now, Silicon Valley giants are reacting. Google has announced it will ban sites that misrepresent, misstate or conceal information from using its ad-selling software. And after dismissing the idea that fake news disseminated on its site influenced the election as crazy, Facebook's chief executive Mark Zuckerberg has also buckled. Facebook will ban fake news sites from its advertising network. The two tech giants' moves could cut a significant source of revenue for fake news sites, but distinguishing between genuine fake news and satirical fake news could be a minefield. Dr. Harrington.
Google does have tremendous power in that respect. But then, this is the problem that we have, is that it's only as good as the people who are, making those evaluations. I think that actually what we ought to be doing is trying to make the average citizen out there sort of more savvy, and for them themselves to be able to discern what is reasonable and trustworthy content, as opposed to just something that someone made up and decided to post on a website that happens to look credible.
Senior Lecturer in Journalism, Media and Communication at the Queensland University of Technology, Dr. Stephen Harrington, ending Lexi Matherall's report.